This is a Healthy Gamer, and this video is going to be my build that's post patch 1.0.3, where they nerfed increased attack speed. This is by far my favorite build ever. It just demolishes everything, and Act 3 has gone from being difficult to being easy farm mode. It almost feels like Act 1 all over again. That's how much easier it's gotten. First, we'll start off by showing you my stats, and then we'll show you the different skills, and I'll explain why I use those. And then we'll show you the in-game footage of the build in action. Okay, stats. So DPS is at 28k. We have 1403 dexterity. Vitality is 698. It's pretty low. I only have 3100 hit points, but I thought that was going to be too low, but actually it's been enough. I've been able to survive. There's been a few times where I'll get instant death, but it's pretty few and far between. So overall, I think the DPS is worth it, and they've nerfed the mob's damage enough that you can get away with having 31,000 hit points in Act 3 Inferno. Weapons I'm using, I'm looking for plus life on hit, and then also plus critical hit damage. I'm not going purely plus life on hit or purely plus crit. I'm trying to get a good balance in between, so you want to look for weapons with sockets that you can socket for plus critical hit damage or plus critical life, whichever one you're lacking. So you can see here I have 32% chance to crit and 835 life on hit, and I'm not wearing any increased attack speed gear whatsoever. My increased attack speed is simply coming from dual wielding. So you can see 1.4, you get a 15% passive boost to your attack speed when you dual wield. So, and that's pretty nice considering everything's been nerfed by 50%, that you still get that 15% from just dual wielding. And so that's all I use. Everything else is crit gear. Amulets are plus crit, my gloves are plus crit, and everything else is just dexterity and, you know, the normal skills. My resistances aren't very high, 54.85%. My dodge is 43.9%, and then my armor is 62.64%. Let's see, anything else? 12% movement speed on the boots. I recommend doing that. It seems to help, especially with kiting and running around. Okay, now we'll get into the build. Primary ability, Fists of Thunder with a Thunderclap rune. You're probably wondering why I would use Thunderclap. It's because every third hit you hit every target for 35% damage. Well, pretty much every target within your melee range. And so when you have a high percentage crit, that generates a lot of crits, and Fist of Thunder is a really quick attack, so you're generating tons of crits, and then your crits will generate Sweeping Wind, Cyclone, Vortexes, which all do 20% damage, and I've had it where I've had 6 to 10 Cyclones up on the screen at a time, so you imagine each one of those is doing 20% weapon damage. It gets to be pretty crazy. And also I believe the proc from Thunderclap, I'm not sure on this, but I believe it affects your life on hit, so every time that procs and you hit every enemy within 6 yards with that 35% weapons damage, it's proccing that life on hit. You can see in the gameplay footage my life stays pretty great in these big packs, and that just would not have happened before. So my right click, I have Sweeping Wind, again with the Cyclone rune. Those tornadoes do a massive amount of DPS. I think this is a skill that a lot of people overlook, but if you have over 30% crit, get this, it's ridiculous. Blinding Flash with 30% increased damage, that goes for some nice burst damage. Serenity, 4-second rune, I found that pretty useful just to have to stay in there. Breath of Heaven, again 15% increased damage, try to keep that up on you at all time. Mantra of Evasion with the Backlash rune. So with this build, whenever I activate Mantra of Evasion, my dodge goes up to 59.5%, and you know, it's pretty great. So about half the time you're getting attacked, you're also dealing 56% weapons damage to everyone around you. So this build just has really great synergy. You want to use Guardian's Path, giving you additional 15% chance to dodge. And then Seize the Initiative is what I use, increasing my armor. And then One with Everything, since I stacked a lot of Arcane Resist. Your passives you can play around with. I'm sure this build will work just fine, like one-hand shield with a two-hander, so you could change that Guardian's Path around. If you have a lot of armor, you can change that around. One with Everything, if you're using just all resist gear, you can change that around. I think Resolve would be really good with this build because you do a massive amount of DPS. And then, yeah, you know, just pick and choose. Passives are not the important part of this build. Okay, and now for some gameplay footage. This is Act 3 of Inferno. I'm in the Halls of Depths. I'm doing a Siegebreaker farming run, and you can see here that increased mortar range really helps monks out a lot. I really don't have any trouble with mortar mobs anymore. I know previous to the patch they were kind of a pain in the ass, but now they're really not too bad. And you can see there that life on hit is keeping me up pretty well, barely having to hit any of my defensive skills. The build is really great for big groups of mobs. Between your primary attack and all of the tornadoes that your sweeping wind spawns, you just tear through packs of mobs like crazy. Look at that, you can't even tell what's going on. There's so many tornadoes going on. Just lots of huge numbers, lots of crits. It's really fun. I want to try to pick up some increased attack speed on my rings and amulets and see how much better that would be. Imagine with like a 2.2 attack speed with all this going on. That would just be crazy. Remember how difficult illusionist mobs used to be? Yep, not anymore. This build is not a problem. You do a massive amount of AoE DPS without sacrificing any single target DPS, really. And this is wonderful. I highly recommend. As you can see, these big skeleton guys, they do quite a bit of damage. This is probably the only part that I would change. I need to pick up some more resist and a little more hit points. I don't like getting that close to death, getting hit by these mobs. And your healthy tip of the day is to drink more water. I'm going to hammer this one over and over again because I think it is so important. It is the basic building block for good health, drinking lots of water. When you wake up in the morning, you should drink a liter of water. Seriously, just chug a liter of water. It'll help you wake up and it'll help you feel instantly refreshed and feel good. And then throughout the day, just keep drinking water. Have a water bottle on hand. I'll link you to this big, gigantic clean canteen. It's stainless steel that I use. It's my favorite water bottle. I have it with me everywhere I go, and it is just amazing. And also, if you're out drinking at night, in order to avoid a hangover the next morning, just chug water. I like to chug water. I like to just drink water until I pee like 3 or 4 times, and then the next morning you'll feel great. Because a hangover, all that is dehydration and the buildup of toxins in your body. So if you can flush that out the night before you go to bed, then you'll feel amazing in the morning. And just one more thing before I go, I just want to show you some different stuff on the website. It's thehealthygamer.com. You go over to it. I've been putting up some cooking videos, and I plan to put up more. This one is chicken thighs and sweet potatoes. It's really quick and easy to make, and it's pretty healthy for you. I have a video showing you how to do it, all the ingredients, and then step-by-step directions if you'd rather read it than watch the video, and then a little bit of a nutrition breakdown for it. So that's on the website there, and you can probably find it in my YouTube channel too. And if you go over to the website, I would really appreciate shares, like on Facebook, through this social share bar. That really helps get my content out to new viewers. And like always, if you enjoy the video and find it helpful, please hit like and subscribe. And that's all I got for you. Hope everybody has a great day. You guys are wonderful viewers.